Hi, we're back again. I've got a pretty big haul slash unhaul for you today. So these are all of the books that I have purchased since my last haul video, which was at the beginning of March-ish. So about 2 months. And then all of the books that I've either read and not wanted to keep in my house, series that I've decided to DNF. So let's go ahead and do the unhaul books first and then the books that I have purchased. So today I've got 11 books that I'm unhauling. So the first stack are all of these Andrew M. Greeley books. So in March, I read the next one in the series, which I believe was Irish Mist. And I got a little ways into it and just decided that I didn't really care anymore. It had been probably about 15 years at least since I have read a book in this series. So I have gotten out of touch with the characters. I couldn't remember what was going on. Didn't really care about the world anymore. Didn't really care about the mystery anymore. So I just decided to DNF and unhaul the entire series. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I had 9 books in this series. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put those in a free little library. I've also got the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrickson. Now, I did enjoy this book. However, it's not a book that I'm going to read again. It's not something I'm going to pick up again. Reading it once is enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and unhaul this one too. And then the last book is The Fury, which if you watched my reading wrap up for April, you'll know that I did not care for this book. So since I didn't like it, definitely not going to read it again. This one will be leaving my house. So those are the 11 books that I am unhauling this over the last 2 months. Let's go ahead and get into the haul. So I've got Illumicrate books, Fairy Loot books, Book of the Month books, and others that I've purchased from either Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or Amazon. So let's go ahead and start off with The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. So this was the this was the Illumicrate book from April. So it's a completely redesigned cover, and I do like it. It is pretty. I would say I didn't really care for the original cover very much either. So this is a little bit of an improvement. I like it for the most part. But we have a beautiful naked hardcover. Purples and pinks. And then these sprayed edges. So those are really pretty. And then we've also got end page art, which is really pretty as well. I like the ocean and the birds. And then this one is very opposite. Tiger appears to be in the jungle. So I am not really sure what this book is about. So it says, after 24 years on the throne, it is time for Burson the Brusque, Emperor of Oran, to bring his reign to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 contenders will compete to replace him. Trained at rival monasteries, each contender is inspired by a sacred animal. Fox, raven, tiger, ox, bear, monkey, and hound. An 8th, the dragon proxy, will be revealed once the trials have begun. 8 exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, the best of the best. Then one of them gets murdered. So, trials, trying to see who the new emperor will be. So sounds very interesting. And this is the first book in this series. So that was an Illumicrate book that I actually did decide to get. I've been skipping Illumicrate quite frequently, and hopefully the books coming up will be pretty good. So our next is the Fairy Loot edition of The Wind Weaver. So this is the Romantasy book for April. So this is a completely redesigned cover, which is very pretty. I like this very simple colorway. And the sprayed edges reflect that colorway with the feathers on it. I really like that. And then we've got a reverse dust jacket, which is a different colorway from the original cover. So I like that as well. And then we've got this beautiful printed and foiled naked hardcover. So that's really pretty. And then beautiful end paper art with some foiling. Looks like we'll have 3 main characters. Love that. And then it's signed. A letter from the author, and there's a map, a prologue. So excited to read this Romantasy pick from Fairy Loot. The synopsis says, a prophecy reignited, a storm unleashed, a love that could shatter everything. In war-torn Anwen, fear of magic plagues every corner of the kingdom, and halflings like Raya Fleetwood are hunted and killed. So that sounds very interesting. Then I got the last 2 books in the This Woven Kingdom trilogy. I think that's the name of the actual trilogy. So I got these last 2 books by Tahira Mafi. Yeah, the Woven Kingdom series. So excited to hopefully read these in the near future. Since I now have all of the books in the trilogy. So then I also picked up the Never List, and this was a special edition for the first print with sprayed edges, and it's got some really beautiful end paper art. And it's the same on both sides. But really beautiful edition. It's got printed map. The naked hardcover has some foiling on it, so that's pretty. And this is a Why Choose fantasy romance for princes, and they need a mate. Everyone wants a chance except for her. 5 women have tried, 5 had failed, and tonight in the royal city, the princes need to find their chosen and hope she can survive the transformation that will make her immortal. So I've heard some mixed reviews about this book so far. However, I really enjoy Why Choose novels, so I'm hoping that I'll really like this one. And then, because they went on sale on Amazon pretty significantly, I got the whole box set of the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. So I have heard really great things about this series and can't wait to get into it. And now I have all of the books plus the novellas, and a new book, well, a book in a new series that's related to this just came out. So need to get started on these. Then I picked up the Barnes & Noble edition of Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. Now, these naked hardcovers are always so pretty just on the normal edition. So this is not Barnes & Noble exclusive naked hardcover. The regular ones are like that too. Because the other books in this series, the Serpent and Wings of Night, I have those in just the regular editions, and they also have the printed covers. So I picked this one up. I think I got it on the Barnes & Noble pre-order sale. I like to get a lot of my books when they do their pre-order sale because they do it a couple times a year. And I think it's like 25% off all pre-orders or something like that. So picked this one up. And then in that same pre-order sale, I got Fearless by Lauren Roberts, the Barnes & Noble edition. The red is okay. Pink is my favorite color, and so I kind of wish this was more similar to the regular version, which has the pink, but still pretty nonetheless. Just a very simple foiled hardcover. And then I can't remember what the perks were or the differences in this being a Barnes & Noble edition. I can't remember, but I think I have all of the other books in this series also in the Barnes & Noble edition, so they all match for sure. Now we've got the Illumicrate March Romantasy box pick. So this is Firebird by Juliet Cross. And this cover has some foiling around the edges, little frame, completely redesigned cover, and then the sprayed edges, which are very pretty. So this is a completely redesigned cover, and then the original is on the reverse side. So I think I like the redesigned one better because it's got the dragon on it. And this is a very pretty naked hardcover. I really like the style of this. And this looks Greek or Roman. So that's very pretty. It's got gold foiling. I like that. I've heard a little bit of controversy also about this book because I think it's a slave and master relationship. Not sure how consensual it is because I haven't read the book yet, but I know some people were rather alarmed because of that fact. But honestly, to me, I don't really mind. I'm looking forward to reading this book. So, a conqueror captivated, a witch prophesied to save them all. From the moment Roman general, so it is Romans, Julianus laid eyes on Melina, he was enthralled by the Dacian dancer. Years later, the fierce beauty stands before him on a scarred battlefield, her life in danger. He instinctively shifts into his dragon form, to save her, an action that may result in his head on the imperial gate. But he and his dragon know one thing: she belongs to them. Okay, well that's interesting. So I'm excited to read. I'm excited to read this book. I think it's the first book in a series. I'm pretty sure. So very beautiful edition nonetheless. Then we have the Fairy Loot Young Adult book for March. And this one is Where Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. And this is a completely redesigned cover with the sprayed edges. And honestly, like, I like the redesigned cover, but the edge is pretty boring. And the naked hardcover looks pretty much just like the dust jacket. So, I mean, it's fine. It's a vampire book. Just kind of boring. However, this is the original cover, just in a different colorway. And it's also pretty boring. Like, it's just a blood-filled chalice. Some roses. Like, I don't know, pretty, just an okay addition to me. However, this end page art is very nice. It's got some gold foiling. And so the art is good in this. It's very pretty. I don't know much about this book. I'm hoping I'll like it. We'll see. So the synopsis says, once long ago, a girl sacrificed her love for her wings. The younger goddess she so willingly gave them up for sacrificed that same love for power, but everything has a cost. So we'll see. See if that comes up on the spinner wheel anytime soon. So this next book, I was really excited to get it. And overall, kind of disappointed on the customizations. So this is the Fairy Loot adult book for March. And it is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. And if you, I think the reverse has the original cover on it, which is also not great. So this just, like, the colors are pretty and the foiling is nice, but it's just so dang boring. Like, even the sprayed edges, it looks just like the cover. It's just like some swirly lines. And I get it, it's like a face, you know, it looks like a profile of a face. Like, I get it, but boring. And then, you know, the naked hardcover, while pretty, not indicative of a special edition that I've paid quite a bit of money for. So this reverse dust jacket is the original cover, just in a different colorway. So not the most exciting there either. And then the end page art, while the portraits are very well done, it's just them in nice clothing and then them in comfy clothing. Like, and then just some swirlies over here. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll understand it more once I actually read the book. I just opened up the box and was rather unimpressed by the customizations for both of these last March books. So the synopsis says, where there's a will, there's a war. Thayer Wren, brilliant CEO of Renfair Magitech, is dead. As the so-called father of modern technology, he leaves an incredible legacy, and any of his 3 telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children could plausibly inherit the Renfair throne. That's hard to say. Or so they think. On the pipeline of gifted kid to clinically depressed adult absolutely wins, yet as they gather to read Thayer's final words, which Wren will come out on top. So, very interesting. I think this is a standalone. Maybe, I can't remember. On to the next. In a sale that Amazon just recently did, they were doing some buy one, get one half off deals. I picked up a couple of the Plated Prisoner books by Raven Kennedy. So I believe this is 2, 4, and 6 from that series. And I did actually order book 1 with these as well. However, it came and it didn't have the drippy spine, which I wanted the drippy spine for all of them. So I went ahead and returned the first book. So I only have the 3. So I need to get the other 3 and make sure that they also have the same spine that matches, because I like the look of that on these newer editions. And then in each of these, the cover is printed and there's a letter. It's the same on both sides. And then there's a little bit of art on each of them printed. And then it's got a nice map and some other details in here that are really cute. So I really like the touches. And I don't know if the original paperbacks are like this as well. I haven't seen them, but I just like the touches for this book, for these books. It's got the map, it's detailed, it's got some, you know, drawings and stuff on it. So I really want to read that series. I've heard so many good things about it and so many people raving about it. So I just need to start reading it. Then I picked up the Barnes & Noble edition of Remarkably Bright Creatures. So this has some sprayed edges, which are super cute. It's got Marcellus the octopus printed up here on some of the pages on the chapters that are from his point of view. And I read this book probably a year ago. I listened to the audiobook, which was fabulous. And this was one of my favorite books from last year. This is a 5-star book for me. I really enjoyed this story, and I loved Marcellus the octopus and the mystery that he helps solve. And this is just such an amazing book, and I think everyone should read it. And the audiobook was amazing. I love the narrator, so it was just such a good book. So I had to go ahead and pick up the paperback special edition. And then I also picked up Enigma by Runix, which just came out. And this is just the regular edition, and it's got some blue sprayed edges so that it matches my version of Gothicana. And there's actually some really beautiful end paper art on this edition. And it's got some foiling on the cover. And then I think the map, it's got an author's note, and then the map is really nice. Oops. The map, and then we've got art on the different pages. Oh, and this pretty. So this edition is just really well done. I really like it, and I am really excited to read some books by this author. And how many times can I say I'm excited to read the books? Obviously, I bought them. Jeez. Right now, I am currently reading Where the Library Hides by Isabella Banez. So this is the second in the Secrets of the Nile duology. So I will be done after this book. And this is the Book of the Month edition to match my copy of What the River Knows. So this is a duology about Inez, who is from Argentina, but travels to Egypt to figure out why her parents died while they were out there. They're archaeologists, and so it goes from there. She meets a couple people. She's out there with her uncle trying to discover Cleopatra's tomb, and there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of lying and deception and a lot of action that happens in these books, and I really am enjoying them so far. So I'm almost halfway through, and I'm really liking it. We're getting some answers to some questions that were in the first book. So enjoying this and excited to see how this duology ends. Then we've got another book of the month. So this was my pick for May, and it is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. So the book of the month did a printed edge for this one. And honestly, I like the silver edge better of the regular edition. So I kind of wish that I had been able to just get this without an edge, but it wasn't an option. So I had to pay a little bit extra to get the sprayed edge edition of this book. But I have heard so many great things about this book. People are loving it. I even saw a meme the other day that it was a Scooby-Doo meme where Fred is pulling the mask off of the bad guy to reveal who's underneath. And it was Fred pulling off the mask, and the person underneath was Sarah J. Maas. So I guess people are saying that maybe Sarah J. Maas actually wrote this book under a different pen name, but everyone is saying that the writing style and this how the book is very reminiscent of Sarah J. Maas. So I have no actual facts. It was just one meme that I saw, and I am really, really excited to read this book. So I'm really hoping that it gets on my June TBR. If not, I honestly might just read it anyway. So we'll see. So I placed a pre-order on Target for the Target version of Primal of Blood and Ash, which is the From Blood and Ash number 6. And that release date got pushed actually until the end of September. But while I was placing that order, I saw this Target version of Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. And the colorway of this is just a little bit different than the original version of the paperback, and I really liked this one, so I went ahead and got this book with that order as well. And this book is so floppy. Like, it's gonna be so great to read this. So I've heard good things about this, and the second book in the series recently came out, so I need to get on it. So to go along with the Blood and Ash theme, I purchased special editions of the first 5 books from the Blood and Ash series from the Arcane Society, and they finally came in, and they are absolutely beautiful. So it came with a couple of art prints as well. Olive, Cass, and Poppy. But these are just so pretty. I just absolutely love this art. Oh, this one goes this way. I just love this art. Hopefully it's in focus. Doesn't really look like it's in focus. So it came with art prints. And then, let's get these in order. I think I have them in opposite order. So they have all redesigned covers, which are just so friggin' pretty. And then sprayed edges. And then the reverse dust jackets. I might be switching them all, even though those are so pretty. But look at this art. Look at this art. And the foiling, I just love it so much. So I might be switching, I'm not sure. But the naked hardcovers are also really beautiful. And the end pages, which are the same on both sides. However, it does have printed title page, map, and color, which are also very pretty. And then it just goes into the book, and it's got a bigger map, and it's got a map in the back as well. So it's just, they're just really pretty additions. Like, I am so excited that I'm so happy that I bought these. Blood and Ash is one of my favorite series. So I know some people don't like it. I freaking love it. I love it so much. So spending the money on these special editions was definitely worth it for me. So then we've got the Crown of Gilded Bones. Again, so friggin' pretty with these sprayed edges. And then the reverse dust jacket with Poppy. I mean, this art is just so beautiful. I really might be switching it. I mean, I love these covers too. But the art, I just love the art. And it looks very similar to the editions of A Court of Thorns and Roses that I have. I bought dust jackets for those as well that look very similar to these. So here's the naked hardcover. Again, so beautiful. And it's got these. Then again, some artwork here. I just, so, and these were definitely worth the wait. It took, I think I ordered these in, oh, I don't know, October, November, something like that. So, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Oh, and the sprayed edge. And then we've got the reverse, just Poppy and Cass. So pretty. And then the naked with the end pages and the art. I just love it so much. So much. Okay, 2 more in this series to go. And I'm sure they will be putting out special editions of book number 6 in the near future. And this has the dragons on it, the War of Two Queens, and then the sprayed edge. This one, I just love it so much. I just love it so much. Because, you know, he's so funny. I just love these books so much. So we've got the end pages, and then the art. And then the final, Soul of Blood and Ash. So this is the one from Cass's point of view. Also very beautiful with the poppies. And the sprayed edge. And then the reverse, which I love the blue. So pretty. And then the naked hardcover. And we've got the end pages with the maiden. And then some art here as well. So excited to have this edition of these books because I love these books so much. Okay, we've just got a couple books left. So we'll dive into the books that I got at Books A Million last weekend. So this is the first time that I've been to the Books A Million that's kind of close to my house. And I didn't realize how big their clearance section was. It was huge, huge. So I got the hardcover edition of The Coven by Harper L. Woods. And this was obviously on sale. Oh, and it's got some art on the end pages. No foiling or anything on the hardcover. I've heard good things about this book. I also think it was a Fairy Loot book before I got my subscription. I know the second book is out, and maybe the third is coming soon. So I've heard good things about this witchy book. Raised to be my father's weapon against the coven that took away his sister and his birthright, I would do anything to protect my younger brother from suffering the same fate. My duty forces me to the secret town of Crystal Hollow and the prestigious Hollows Grove University, where the best and brightest of my kind learn to practice their magic free from human judgment. So I have that now. And then I've got Sunbringer, which is the second in the Fallen God series. The first one is God Killer, which I do have on my shelves. So this one was on sale, so I went ahead and picked up the second book in that series. Now these books are relatively short, and I believe the third book in this series was either just announced or just came out or something. But these books are relatively short, but I've heard that they're still good fantasy books even though they're short. Oh, and it's got a little bit of art in here. That's cool. So now I've got the second book in this series. And then I went ahead and picked up Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Even though I don't love this cover, I didn't really want the movie cover, the show cover, whatever. But you know, it was only $4, and people love this book. I haven't read the Shadow and Bone series yet, so I need to start and get involved in the Grishaverse. Now, I did watch the show on Netflix, and I actually really loved it, and I'm really sad that they're not doing any more of that series. So I did really enjoy the series on Netflix. So, but I need to get these friggin' stickers off of those books. And then I also picked up the last one by Rachel Housel Hall, and it's got some nice sprayed edges. So this book was actually half off. And it's got, oh, I didn't realize it had a printed hardcover, the snake on it. That's cool. And then it's got some end page art. It's pretty. Same on the back. Yeah, so this book was half off, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, but it sounded interesting. And it's got a map. It was on my want to read list on Goodreads, so let's read a little bit of the synopsis. So it says, thrown into a desolate land of sickness and unnatural beasts, Kai wakes in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that she cannot reach the Sea of Devor. Even this hellscape will get worse. But when she sees the village blacksmith fight invaders with unspeakable skill, she decides to accept his offer for help. Too bad he's as skilled at annoying her as he is at fighting. As she searches for answers, Kai only finds more questions, especially regarding the blacksmith who can ignite her body like a flame, then douse it with ice in the next breath. And no one is what or who they appear to be in the kingdom of Vinevrit, including the man whose secrets might be as deadly as the land itself. So this synopsis isn't really giving much. Not really sure what is supposed to be going on here, but picked up that book. And then I also got the two novellas in the Foul Lady Fortune, is that what the series is called? By Chloe Gong. So I went ahead and picked up these two novellas. They were also on clearance. It was $8 for both of these. So these are no dust jacket, just printed hardcovers. So really pretty. No art or anything on the inside, just printed hardcovers. So I've got all the other books in this series. So I went ahead and wrapped it up with the novellas. So those are all the books that I got at Books A Million last weekend. Then, while I was reading Manacled in March, I fell in love with it so much. I was totally obsessed. So I got into Etsy and purchased printed hardcovers of Manacled. And they're pretty nice. Very expensive. Way too expensive. However, I was so friggin' addicted to the book that I had to get them. So it comes in 3 different parts. So part 1, we've got all this pretty artwork. I know the artwork in the actual books is by Avondale. And so I think most of this is Avondale's work as well. And then the printed hardcover, and it's got the corners and it's got a ribbon bookmark, but it's printed. And then there's art on the inside. And this is all Avondale's artwork. Want to make sure that they get credit for that because this artwork is absolutely amazing. And then some printed, some art prints as well. They're kind of hard to see. They're all pretty dark. But this is all Avondale's work. And then this is the dust jacket for the part 1. We've got part 2 with Draco and Hermione. And the art there. And the art on the back. And then the, oh, and I didn't show you the naked hardcover on that one. So again, so pretty. So pretty. If you were able to get the ebook version of Manacled before it went out of, before it went offline, because Sinlin Yu is traditionally publishing this book, but obviously not based off of Harry Potter. So it's been renamed Alchemized, and I already have that book pre-ordered. So excited about that. So here's part 3. And we've got more Avondale art. And then the naked hardcover. So pretty. And then if you line up the spines, they actually make an image as well. So they've got Draco and Hermione. Not only do I love Harry Potter, I loved Handmaid's Tale. Now I've only seen the show, I haven't read the books. But I loved Manacled so much. So got these hardcovers. I've already pre-ordered Alchemized because I'm so excited to see what Sinlin Yu changes and what stays the same, because obviously she can't use a bunch of the elements from Harry Potter or from Handmaid's Tale, because it's no longer fan fiction. It's, you know, just based off fan fiction. So we'll see. But I'm really excited about that Hermione fanfic new book. One more Barnes & Noble order and then we'll be donezo. So I got the paperback edition of Long Live Evil. This is by Sarah Reese Brennan. I think this was a Fairy Loot book sometime last year. It was before I had my subscription, but I heard some good things about it and I was intrigued, and it's got this cool map. As her whole life collapses, Ray still has books. Dying, she seizes a second chance at living, a magical bargain that lets her enter the world of her favorite fantasy series. She wakes in a castle on the edge of a hellish chasm, home to the once and forever Emperor, her favorite fictional character. He is impossibly alluring as only fiction can be. However, in this fantasy world, she discovers that she's not the heroine, but the villainess in the Emperor's tale. Time to assemble a rogues gallery of villains and hatch an evil plot. So, a little bit of a twist on a story. And then I got the Barnes & Noble edition of the Atlas 6 in paperback. So this has black sprayed edges. So I have not read this series, and some people say that it's not real great. Like the first book is good, but the other ones aren't. So I will see that for myself. And then the last book is Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. So this has been traditionally published now. The original name for this was Split or Swallow, and so that's now the name of the series. But this paperback has these printed edges, and I've heard good things about this book. Lots of trigger warnings, lots of weird stuff that goes on. However, I'm excited to read this. The second book was just announced. I've seen a printed edge of that one too. So I will probably like that book. So that is all of the books that I have hauled since March. And then that stack of Unhaul books, that will be going to the couple of free little libraries that are around me. So let me know down below if you've read any of these books, if you liked them, if you didn't like them. Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one.